Welcome back. Black History Month is a great opportunity to celebrate the achievements and contributions made by African Americans.
But a recent movement by several school boards and states is removing the works of African American authors from libraries and preventing educators from teaching about racism. I spoke to a local author and educator about the impact of this type of censorship.
Divisive, uncomfortable, and un-American. These are the words being used to ban books and teachings about race, gender, and sexuality. Last year, 54 such bills in 24 states were introduced.
They want to delegitimize the founding of the country and the institutions, and they basically want to replace it with a very militant form of leftism that would absolutely destroy this country.
The movement has specifically targeted African American authors, like Toni Morrison's Beloved and the 1619 Project by Nikole Hannah-Jones, as well as children's books about Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks. But many of these books under scrutiny are fantasy or simply expressing the Black experience. The public attacks against authors are often extreme.
I've written comics and graphic novels. I've loved them my whole life, but I don't think I ever imagined I would get death threats over them.
When Denver author R. Allen Brooks announced he was writing a graphic novel that was an allegory for leaving white supremacist movements, he got death threats on social media Christmas morning, 2019.
Zola, the main character, she feels very righteous, but does not have compassion. And so as things become revealed to her, she starts to see, oh wait, I might not be the good guy. In America, anytime a Black person has boldly spoken from their perspective, there have been some people to rise up to try to tear it down.
Here in Colorado, the new conservative school board in Douglas County voted to amend the district's equity policy, then fired the superintendent. A policy meant to create a more welcoming environment for racial, ethnic, gender, and sexual minorities.
There's also instances of middle school privilege walks, which creates feelings of shame and guilt in the name of pointing out oppressor and victim.
Although these challenges to education and the works of African Americans may seem unprecedented, many feel it's just history repeating itself.
If you recall your history, it was illegal to teach Black people to read and write during enslavement. That was intentional. Well, what do you think this is?
Tamara Rohn is an educational consultant and taught for 44 years at Denver Public Schools. She wrote the accelerated curriculum for African American studies.
When we're teaching children about contributions and people and things like that, so that they understand that we contributed.
Rohn says these bans are a distraction from the real issues that need to be fixed within the American education system.
The problem is also, who do you have in the classrooms? Are they equipped?
Many of the authors seeing their books banned are seeing their sales increase. When the threats against Brooks became public, the community rallied around him, helping him finance Anguish Garden. The sequel will be released in June.
I don't think that there's any historical example of a government that has banned books and turned out well for them, But I do think that we need to be vigilant, we meaning all of us as Americans, vigilant in fighting against that kind of censorship.
If you want to go deeper on important stories impacting Coloradans, Denver 7 has made it easier for you to keep up to date. You can sign up for Denver 7's 360 in-depth email newsletter. Each week will include stories, finding context and solutions to some of our state's most challenging problems. You can sign up over on thedenverchannel.com.